Alright, we are back. We're looking at what has come out for DCeased. As you would expect, the first couple days of his homicide campaign are always very active. So we got a couple updates to go through, and I just want to try and make it a little easier so we can just kind of run through these real quick. So the first update we got to look at, we're going to try and go in order. So this is the Daily Unlock, Daily Bugle, I forget what they're calling in this. It's the Jimmy Olsen, the Daily Planet look up. Now, so, this is never going to be a character that thrills me. I'm kind of sad to see her as a bystander because I was always under the impression that Mira was like a powerful, independent character, and it's a shame that she's relegated this way to just being a bystander. I can't explain why, but the art to this, like, everything from the neck down looks great. The trident looks great. The outfit looks great. The little splashy effect looks great. And if they're going to be a bystander, it's not overdone. It's solid. But that face is goofy, and I don't know why, and it bothers me a lot. Now, the art for these is always kind of hit and miss. The White Death campaign had a lot of hit and miss for me with the art, but this is solid. Blue Beetle looks great. It's a great combination of his newer look and his classic look. The base is fun. It looks like we got Green Arrow fighting for his life down there. He's in a movement stance. He looks like he's active. It's perfect. This is everything I would want from a Blue Beetle model. I love this model. This is fantastic. This is a weird one for me. So I know a little bit about Booster Gold. I forget where I saw it, but I saw it somewhere, and it's interesting. He's an interesting character, at least a little bit. So I can live with this one. This one's okay. It's a fun character. It's a fun character, so there's a lot of opportunities to be a fun character. Hopefully, he plays in a very jovial way, and he's able to do stuff that is fun and fanciful and not too serious. I think having characters like this that are very flamboyant and such a grim, dark aesthetic is super important just to kind of give everybody a break. So this is a cool one. I'm such a fanboy for Steel. I love the aesthetic and the design of Steel. I think Steel is such an underrated character. It's a shame that he's a zombie. And I feel like I'm going to say this a lot. It's a shame that they're not going to be able to give us a zombie mode, because there's a lot of these characters that would be fun as zombies. And, yes, the community is going to step up and make them and yada yada, but it's still a shame. It's just a shame, I guess. That's what I'm saying. It's such a cool design. It's such a cool visual. But so one of the problems I always ran into with Zombicide is specifically when you're making abominations, they're fun to make because they're, your enemies. But ever since Marvel Zombies introduced the concept of playing as the zombies so that every abomination and every hero is an abomination and a hero, it really changed my perspective on it. And now, I love this model. He's visually stunning, but I'm thinking, I'm going to have to spend all this time, and I'm only ever going to see him as a menace. And it just seems like such a missed opportunity. And I know they can't do anything about it, but still. You're here with us, so we're here to talk about what we have, not what we want. Now, I had to look up who Wonder Girl is. I don't know anything about Wonder Girl. If you're a fan of Wonder Girl, I hope this is what you were looking for. Visually, she definitely looks like a mini Wonder Woman. I'm guessing this is in the same vein of the, Robin, Supergirl, the, next generation. Me, it's great, sure. Why can't we have a new Amazon? Why do we have to have one related to Diana? Why can't we have somebody, truly new? Somebody who just steps out? This has been a really fun opportunity to get an interesting new character with maybe a different perspective, and maybe find some underrepresented group and give them a brand new Amazon woman to look up to, who's nothing like anything we've seen before, instead of mini Wonder Woman. But what do I know? Speaking of, I don't know who this is either. I can't recall ever running into this person at all. But I do have to wonder, so we did the green effect. Why didn't we do it here? I mean, if painting-wise, it could have been a nightmare, but you could have given us something. I think this would have been a good choice for it. It really makes a very striking model when they're using that clear plastic for stuff, and they didn't here, and it just seems like a miss. I don't know, maybe there's a fire fan out there, so good on you. So this is what I mean. Like, if we're going to do the effects, we should do the effects across the board. The more of these, like, cool little colorful effects, the brighter the board is for people who don't paint. And I paint, so, like, it doesn't matter to me. But it's cool. It's a cool thing to have. It's a neat effect. This is another one, though. Like, okay. So, Aquaman has never been my jam. Ever. I've seen a couple variations of him I don't hate, but he's never been my jam. But we used the updated Beetle. Why didn't we use this? Like, aside from the fact that it makes way more sense to me to have somebody with a darker complexion who lives in fucking Atlantis than the prototypical white guy, he made such an impact. He created such a look. He looks like an actual badass. He looks like an actual king. This is reminiscent of when Aquaman was in the Justice Friends. And I just... It makes me sad because it's a missed opportunity to do something really cool. And I also just noticed he has something underneath his calves that look like fins, and I hate that. But other than that, it's a solid all around. It's an interesting aesthetic choice, I guess. I feel like they did that to us a lot in the Marvel one, where like they picked weird times to be classic and weird times to be modern. So Ice is another one. Who is Ice? Does anyone know who Ice is? You know who I want? Forget Ice. And look, she's got the effects too, but forget Ice. You know who we should have? We should have Frost. Frost is cool as shit. Frost is a fun character with an interesting story. In fact, not even this Frost. Let's do this Frost. This Frost was a badass. This Frost took no shit. This Frost was willing to do whatever had to be done. You were not going to get the better of this Frost. This is a cool Frost. Why don't we have Frost? This just feels like we got the Tenmu of Frost, or the Wish of Frost. Here's another one. So I love Static Shock. I do. I'm a 90s kid. I'm in the perfect era to have really enjoyed Static Shock as a kid, and I see what they were going for, but I'm a modeler and a painter first, and this hair is a mess. This hair looks so goofy on this model, and maybe it looks better in person, but it looks so goofy. The problem is that if you want to do braids are hard to model because if you make them too thin, they'll break. If you make them too thick, they look silly. And it looks like they're too thick here. This, just a quick Google search, this is a fantastic alternative. You still have the braid look if that's what you're determined to do. He's got the little bun in the back so you can kind of bring the hair to a point. You can put two strands that run through his face and create a break in it. This would have been a fantastic alternative because while it does look like Static Shock. It is the Static Shock haircut, more or less. It's not a great choice painting-wise because it's gonna take some doing to get that to look right. And it's a shame because I love Static Shock, and I want Static Shock to be a model that everybody can do and do well and not struggle with, and I'm just not convinced that that's what you're going to get here. But I still love the idea that we have Static Shock, and it's a fun little character. I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to see him. Hoping, obviously, we're going to have to get a Gotham box. I'm hoping we get a Teen Titan box. Off the top of my head, those are probably my big two. And I'd like a Green Lantern core box that has all the other lanterns. Like, if we're going to do this, give me some Black Lanterns, some Red Lanterns, some Blue Lanterns. Give me some lantern variations of characters. That's always a fun one. And of course, the archives of Batman stuff and Teen Titan stuff. But, you know, it's not terrible. Keep your expectations reasonable, and I think that this will be a successful one. I printed out and looked at the Dark Knight's character models. I'm hoping to get to play them, hopefully, at some point in the very near future in the Marvel Zombies. So hopefully we'll get some information about that in the future. Thank you so much for hanging out. This is Dork and Sync. Have a great day.